Maximize your yields while spreading out your workload with the earliest maturing winter cereal. Visit kws.com/CA to see how our hybrid rye varieties can work for you. High yields, high quality, high value for your farm. KWS, seeding the future since 1856.
Hi, I'm Bernard Taube and welcome to Real Agriculture. Earlier this summer, I traveled to Prince Edward Island to talk about the growth of winter wheat in the Maritimes with Syngenta agronomist Eric Richter. In this video, we head back to PEI to talk to Eric about how winter wheat is finding a nice fit in crop rotations, especially after potato harvest. So Eric, answer a question for me. What is the fastest growing crop in the Maritimes?
Oh, I love that question, Vern. The fastest growing crop on PEI, I believe, is winter wheat. On an acreage basis, growers are keen to grow it. We've had some really good success in the last 5 years, and their intention each year has been to grow more winter wheat, and that's a good thing for all growers on PEI.
Now, obviously finding a home and a fit with potatoes is key. Now,
That's right.
This was a potato field last fall. We're standing in winter wheat. Tell me about this field.
As you said, it absolutely. Here's the living proof, or dead proof, that this was in fact a potato field in 2023. We've got 85,000 plus acres every year on the island of potatoes. Typically get dug starting in late September through into October. And one of the things we're looking for on the island is how to get that ground covered again in some sense to reduce water and wind erosion. But winter wheat is sort of our secret bullet there, Bern. And you know, the challenge that we have is to make the system work because we're outside of the ideal planting date.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about rotation. You know, again, this is finding its way into the rotation. Talk about maybe the traditional rotation and what a rotation looks like with winter wheat.
Yeah. So the traditional rotation had been, and still is in many cases, potatoes dug in the fall. The soil will be sort of bare and naked. There'll be vines there, but during the winter there's no living crop. And then in the spring they'd plant spring barley, underseed with red clover timothy, and then in the third year there'd be hay or green manure crop and so on, and back into potatoes the next year. That really is the traditional system.
Yeah. So what's the benefit of moving, you know, that winter wheat into that rotation?
So the different version of this, of course, is starting with potatoes again, but immediately after digging those potatoes, we're trying to encourage the grower to come right in and seed the winter wheat right into that potato ground. The challenge, as I mentioned earlier, is planting date. It tends to be a little bit later. And the benefits, as mentioned, is our wind and water erosion. We keep something growing in the shoulder season. It's a really good cover crop, but we have also got the opportunity to carry that through for a true cash crop the following year.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned obviously that planting date is a bit of a challenge. What else do growers need to think about to make it work?
So there have been growers over the years and decades trying winter wheat after potatoes. So it's not a novel idea. It's not new in that sense. But there were a couple things I think that weren't making it a favorable outcome, and that was often, well, genetics has changed for sure, but also growers were planting that winter wheat in the fall without any starter. And the other was that they were typically planting the winter wheat shallower as we went into the fall season. And on PEI, the one thing I've come to learn is a lot of our soils, although generally light in texture, we've got enough silt and clay components still in there that is a very high heaving risk. So planting deeper, using a starter fertilizer, and using the newer varieties with better winter hardiness, I think is changing the game and the success rate for growers that are growing potatoes but still want to integrate winter wheat into that rotation.
Final question, you also talked about in previous videos about, you know, having the tools in the toolbox to manage winter wheat. You know, where might this go? Will we see more acres of winter wheat following potatoes?
I think we will. I do honestly believe that, and the reason being is that if we look at the system stack program, Syngenta stack program, where we are encouraging that grower to apply the right amount of nitrogen based on head count. We're using a growth regulator to make sure that it stays standing. We've got fungicide at T1.5 and then again like Miravis Ace at T3. That stacked program puts the yields into a profitable range. And as enticing as it might be, no matter what crop we grow on the island, I firmly believe we're helping them grow a better crop, but it has to be a profitable crop as well.
Great stuff, Eric. Hey, really appreciate you making some time and hosting us here in PEI on Real Agriculture.
Bern, we're glad to have you. Thank you.